Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm so excited to see everyone here. My name is Mary Beer. I'm the director for the Pacifica Prevention Partnership, and this is our fourth annual Pacifica Youth and Family Summit virtual, right? I'm going to start with some thank yous. I want to thank I'm not going to get, sad or whatever here. Anyway, okay. So I want to thank Robbie Bancroft for filling in for me when I was out. I've been out on medical leave and I was really worried about the event. And he said, I got you. And that was like the best thing that I could have heard. So Robbie, thank you so much. Thanks everybody at Screen Age Media, Kevin, Dee, Jen. Thank you all so much for all of your help. With the summit, even before we got to this point. And then Lalo, thank you for coming on and for agreeing to co-facilitate and help us. We love you. But more than anything, I want to thank BTC Youth Coalition. So I'm just going to go around and have you guys wave. Kendall, hello. Can you give us a wave? Yay, that's Kendall. We have MK.
Hi.
Iman, Jen, Donia.
Hi.
And Zeke.
Hi.
I'm going to give you a little tiny bit of history about all the work that these young people have done, because today is all about them. This is not about me. This is not about the partnership in general. This is about our young people. The Pacifica Prevention Partnership started in 2005, and over the years we've worked with many, many young people implementing prevention strategies. I want you to understand, all of you people out there, how hard this group of young people have worked. So in this year alone, they completed a youth-led research project where they surveyed over 2,000 students in Jefferson Union High School District. They created the survey, they entered the data, they did all the data analysis, they created a findings and recommendations report, they presented it to the community. Through that, they did advocacy for an alternative to suspension program around vaping, which was initiated as a pilot program this year. All because of your work. So thank you so much for that. They also created the videos that I hope all of you have watched already. So there's a couple links to their videos, which we made for the original summit. So this was before COVID-19. Robbie's going to put those links in the chat for you in case you haven't watched that. So please understand how hard all these young people have worked. It's been an honor and a privilege. This is the first time that I've been out in public, and I would not miss this for the world. So, ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce to you Be the Change Youth Coalition. Kendall, take it away.
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Kendall. We are the Be the Change Youth Coalition, and our goal is to reduce the use of alcohol, nicotine, and other drugs and substances in our community. Today, we're going to be talking about basically 3 different topics. We're first going to be going over redefining mental wellness and how our mental wellness has been affected during this COVID-19 pandemic. We're then going to be talking about appreciating diversity, also related to COVID-19. And finally, we're going to pass it off to Lalo in the Youth Leadership Institute, and he's going to talk about what everyone has needed throughout, or what needs the community has throughout this hard. So I'm now going to pass it off to MK, who's going to talk to you guys about our next topic.
Hello, everyone. My name is MK, and the first topic that we'll be talking about today is redefining mental wellness. We chose this topic because we wanted to talk about the truths and the importance of mental wellness, because we are all going through things and we all experience anxieties, depressions, just a bunch of things in our daily lives, and especially with this whole pandemic going on. So we believe this topic is even more important than when we first chose it a couple months ago. So to begin, I'm going to ask our first question to my fellow BTC members, which is what are you going through during this pandemic? And how are you feeling? And like with school and with your home life and your personal life. So to begin, I would like to go to Jen.
Hi, my name is Jen, and during this pandemic, I actually been through a lot. Like, I'm a senior, and I just graduated like yesterday, so like I don't have that much like schoolwork to deal with. But like, I've been feeling very like indecisive lately because I'm actually moving to another state to go to school, and they might close schools for like the fall because of the coronavirus. So I just been unable to like think about should I leave or should I take a gap year, and it's just been stressing me out.
And with regarding your senior year, did you find it like what was the hardest part of when they told us that we weren't going to go back to school? What was the hardest part about that?
I think the hardest part for me was like I wasn't able to say goodbye because I missed like a few days that week because I was kind of deaf in one ear and I couldn't say goodbye to like my favorite like teachers and staff, but also my friends because they're also moving and going to like different colleges.
Thank you, Jen. And now to Zeke.
Well, as Jen, I just graduated yesterday from Oceana High, and really, it's just, I don't know, I guess missing school and missing everything, because I was also gone for the last couple of days of school, and I didn't really get to say goodbye to anybody. Well, and nobody really knew that this was going to be our last day anyways. So, yeah.
And Zeke, if you wouldn't mind, would you like to kind of maybe touch on maybe home life for you right now?
Well, at home, there's 9 of us. We're a big family. And really, most of us are already in high school, so none of us were really ever home. And since COVID-19 hit, I guess all of us have gotten closer over the 10 weeks that we've been home.
Thank you for sharing.
Beautiful.
And so, Kendall?
Same with sort of everyone else. I'm a senior, and that last day of school was like weird for me because my 2 best friends weren't there. So I didn't get to say goodbye to them. I also didn't really get to say goodbye to my teachers because we all thought we were just leaving for a month and then we would come back and it would just be more work. So it was weird, and it's definitely like I feel like I missed out on a lot of things that I would have experienced if the school year had continued, like prom or just even like smaller than that, I guess, just hanging out with my friends because I'm moving to Maryland for college. So I just sort of realized the other day that I don't actually get to say goodbye to my friends in person. But like home life and stuff has been okay. It's a little stressful because everyone's working at home now. So where there used to be just like me or just my mom, it's now like all of us. So there's a lot going on at home now.
Thank you for sharing, Kendall. And so just to repeat the question again, is what are you going through during this pandemic and how are you feeling with your school experience, your home life, and personally? And so now I'll go to Donia.
My school life, I'm just sad that I couldn't say bye to certain people that weren't at school. And the last day I came late, so it's really sad that I couldn't spend the whole day with my friends. And like I always knew that we're not gonna go back to school because how bad it was getting at the time. So I always knew that I wasn't gonna go back to school. And home life is weird because like me and my sister were always working and my dad, so we were never home. So now we're always working, like always at home. So it feels weird and I don't feel motivated to do anything because you're at home all day, so you feel like, oh, there's no point. And I feel like you can't do anything, especially for me right now because I am fasting, so I can't take long walks or something if I feel tired because it's not safe right now for me because, I could faint or something because I don't drink water or eat. for the 16 hours. So I feel like, and I can't go to the mosque because that's when we get together. So it feels like this whole like month kind of got ruined because everyone waits for this month, and that's the month where you actually get together with friends that you don't see for a whole year, and you wait for this for a whole year, and it just gets like canceled. So it's kind of like sad.
Can you talk more so about Ramadan and what that experience is like?
Ramadan is the holy month for Muslims. They fast for a month, not straight. So they fast from sun up, sundown for 16 hours in the US. And other countries they do 20 hours. Or 18. And you usually get together with Muslims of your community, and in the end of the month, there's this holiday called Eid where it's celebrating the end of the month, and usually people get presents from people or like money, and you get together with your family and the Muslim community, and you pray in the morning and stuff. And it's usually really special for us because we get dressed up, and it's like the only holiday that we actually celebrate. So everyone gets dressed up. But this year we can't do that. But hopefully we have 2 Eids this year. Like every year, it's like 2 months apart. So hopefully if it does get better, we can at least have a small gathering for that one. So I still like, it's sad, but it's safe like this.
Thank you so much for sharing, Dunya. And now to Iman.
Unlike the rest of my peers, I'm actually a junior, not a senior. So I don't know the same experience as like missing out on like stuff like graduation, stuff like that. And the only thing like that really bothered me is like missing out on school, because I was a good student in school. Like I did all my work and I turned it in like before it was due and stuff. But now like I have I haven't done schoolwork in a month, like anything at all. And I really messed up my sleeping schedule, especially when you're fasting, because you tend to stay up because the only time you can eat is from like at night and like in the early mornings, it's from like 8 to 4 in the morning where you can actually eat. And I love food, so I'm going to spend my time eating, And also, like with fasting and stuff, like we used to go to the mosque to pray, like with other, like during Ramadan. And on our Eid, it would be like a huge prayer, like everybody like prays like together, sort of like strangers would like come side to side to pray. And it was just like something we would do it was like a tradition. And like Dunya said, it was like the one holiday we celebrate. We don't celebrate Christmas or anything like that. Like we don't have a holiday where we can just come together. Like we don't have that many holidays. So yeah, it's kind of disappointing that we have to miss out on that.
Would you say that this experience of fasting is harder to do than normally what you've done in the past?
No. I sleep all day. Like I go to sleep at 6 in the morning and then I wake up at 6 p.m. That's really unhealthy, I know. But when you're fasting, you tend not to care.
It's really easy because like when you're in the Western world, it's like everyone's eating in front of you because they don't fast, and so it's even harder. But like the point of Ramadan is learning discipline, so it makes it harder, but that's the good part, is the hard part. So it makes it like fun that you can like hold yourself back, but it makes it easier because you don't see them and you're at home all day and you get to sleep. And while if it was school, we had to stay up all like night and then wake up 2 hours later to go to school, and that's the worst thing ever.
Thank you both for sharing your experiences with Ramadan. Personally, for me, I'm a senior as well, and so like with the school experience on the last day of school at school, you know, on that Friday, my auntie hadn't gone to work. She was scared of the pandemic. And so she told me, she said, I don't want you going to school today just because I'm scared of it. And so I said, okay, I won't go to school today, thinking that I would go back to school on Monday and see all my friends and just do my regular routine of getting on the bus in the morning and then going to school and seeing my best friends as well as classmates that I really enjoy. And then, a couple hours later, we all get a call that's like school's not coming back for a month. And my first reaction was, wow, a month, that's a long time to like not be in school. And then my second reaction was, oh, there's no school for a month. Oh, I'm going to go hang out with my friends and we're going to go.
So we told MK that we'd have her back in case she froze. So we're going to keep moving on a little bit. And I'll just say really quickly about my experience. Not being able to come back together with you all as a group has been seriously hard for me. I miss you all very much. Go ahead, MK.
Sorry, everyone. My internet is not the best. But then I think about after I had that thought of hanging out with my friends, I believe a week later, or maybe not even a week, the shelter in place order happened. And so pretty much since then, I've been in my house pretty much the entire time. And, I think all of us seniors were really hoping to go back to school. And then when it was officially announced that we wouldn't come back, I think it was pretty hard on all of us in different ways. And how, prom and graduation and such. But, we have to learn to adapt to these things.
I'm going to give you a time check. We have about 10 more minutes for this topic.
All right. If it's okay with everyone, we'll move on to our second question, which is, how are you dealing with your own mental health during the pandemic? And then what are some tips that have helped you that we can share with everyone? And I'll start with Jen.
So during this pandemic with my mental health, I think it's been going like pretty well because I've been like checking in with myself, but also like pushing myself to like get out of bed because like some days I have like a hard time getting out of bed. Like I would stay there until like 10 or like even like 11 or like 12. So like some advice I would say for some people is like just get out of bed. Like it makes you feel so much more better. Even if you don't feel like you're not going to do anything, just get out. Like you're going to feel so refreshed, like just washing your face. But also I've been picking up on some like old hobbies and like watching old shows. Like I've been watching Criminal Minds and it's been keeping me like really busy, but I've also been baking. So like just pick up old hobbies and it'll be all okay.
Thank you, Jen. So your tip is to gain some hobbies while we're all at home. All right, and now to Zeke.
Well, for me, my mental health has been pretty good, I guess. At first, it wasn't because of not being able to see all my friends, but like Jen, I've been checking in with myself, and I actually have been spending more time with my family that I've never really done before. So my tip is to just surround yourself with people you love, and you'll just have the best of the day.
May I ask what kind of things you're doing with your family?
Well, okay, me and my family, we're very competitive, so we play Monopoly a lot. So I guess all of us, like I said, we're all competitive. So like we play Monopoly, or we'll just start playing board games, or we'll actually do yoga together in the morning and stuff. So like I guess all of this has just kind of brought us closer together. So yeah.
That's great. Thanks. That's great, Zeke. Thank you for sharing. And Kendall?
I think I've definitely been doing just trying, sort of like Jen said, just try to get new hobbies or even like pick up old hobbies. I've been trying to do things that motivate me. Friday was my last day of school, but like before that with schoolwork, I would try to do as much of it as I could when I was motivated. And then when I wasn't, I would take a break and go do something else that I liked, like baking or watching TV or something, just to give me a little more energy. And then I would go back and finish what I was doing. Also, sort of what Zeke said, where I've been spending a lot more time with my family. I've also been trying to keep in contact with all of my friends from school, just to like make sure that we're all talking, and then we all have somewhere to go and someone to talk to when we don't feel like okay, I guess. Yeah, that's what I would have to say.
Thank you, Kendall. And just to reiterate the question again, it is, how are you dealing with your own mental health during the pandemic? And what are some tips that have helped you that you can share with everyone? And we'll go to Donia.
I think what helped me most was cooking. Like, I love cooking, and I make everything that like it's like comfort food. So like the comfort food is like the best thing to do when you're feeling down. It actually helps you. Shockingly, it does. Food always helps. And I think what helps me is like to motivate yourself to do things slowly during the day and stuff. Sometimes you do feel like, I can't get out of bed, and like that is like the worst day, and you can't really motivate yourself in those days. But I feel like if you motivate yourself, oh, like I have to go to the bathroom, and then you walk there, and sometimes it helps. Like, oh no, I have to go do other stuff too, and not just go back to my bed.
What type of things are you cooking in quarantine?
Pancakes, pasta, seafood. Like, I make a lot of seafood because I love seafood. And then I make like steak, chicken, avocado toast, garlic bread.
Making me
So
hungry.
I just love food. Trust me, I'm hungry, Mary. I'm saying these food and I'm fasting, and it's like I'm hungry.
Thank you, Donia. And Iman?
Wait. My mental health is like, I don't know how like to describe it, but it's just like on and off, like good, bad. But it's never hit to the point where it's like really bad. So I guess that's good. And some tips. I'm not really one to give advice, but I don't know, like take a shower. Because whenever I have to get up, I force myself to go in the shower, like, and I put it to like the cold setting just to wake me up. That's good for anxiety too. Just hop in the shower, put it to the cold setting or something. And I pray a lot right now because it's like a meditation sort of thing. I'm pretty sure Dunya does too. I don't know. Yeah, you do. I know you do. So yeah, that's it.
Thank you, Iman, for sharing.
And what
And
about you, MK?
yes, me. For me personally, I think there's been times during this pandemic where I get kind of some spots of, I think, depression in ways because, I do miss hanging out with my friends. I do miss the freedom, my kind of freedom of just walking down the street and getting on the bus and kind of going wherever I wanted to because I was used to doing that. And so just being in the house, it's been nice because I have been seeing my family more and stuff, but it's just been hard to adjust at times to this kind of living life like this. So there is times of that. And I think my tips for people, and I haven't followed this as much as I should, but I think really kind of sticking to a form of a schedule has kind of helped me, like especially when we had school and there was times where you had to be there, and obviously I would have to get ready beforehand because I would be on camera, and I would eat dinner at the same time and try to go to bed around the same time, wake up at the same time, just try to keep as much as a schedule so I know what I have to do. And just knowing that I have to do something is some form of motivation to me that I need to get stuff done. So, yes.
I've had the honor of seeing you guys over the past couple months, right? Because we've been meeting regularly, and so I experienced, I think, the lows for you guys where you are really angry and really depressed and just like, I don't want to do anything at all, right? And so for you to have come this far to this point, I've seen such a huge change in how you're adapting, and I think that's beautiful. So good work, you guys.
All right, and so now I'm going to give the mic off to Jen, who's going to introduce our Q&A.
So, yeah, that's the end of our session. So if any of you have any questions, feel free to just type it down in it's at the bottom of the screen, the Q&A.
It's the end of this one topic. So if you have questions, feel free to put them into the Q&A. That'd be awesome. And I just want to give a quick shout out to all of our interns who are all on the line. We love you. We miss you. Thank you so much.
We miss you guys.
No questions from our people?
Mary, did you share any of your tips? I know you're going through a lot right now, so I too have seen that we're all been kind of on the same roller coaster, but how are you feeling? What are you experiencing? Is there any tips for students, who are graduating and heading on into the real world, and what they're up against? What tips can you share that helps you along the way and where you're at now?
For me, it's really important for me to be completely transparent about where I'm at in my life and what's going on, with all the people around me, with all of you, with, the people in the community. It just helps me to have everybody kind of understand, right? This has not been an easy time for anyone. And so we need to love each other. We just need to love each other, and in the very best way that we can. And 5-year-olds across the street help too. When you have little people around, that's very helpful.
Unless they're your siblings. Unless they're your siblings.
Yeah, unless they're your siblings.
They're annoying. They're literally you know how they say evil can't be born? They were born evil.
Lolo, I think there's some questions.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Mary. There are a couple questions that came in, so thank you all for sending in those questions. There are 3. The first question is, have any of the panelists found that keeping a journal during this time has been helpful? Would anyone want to answer? Kevin Woodhouse's question.
Yeah, thank you, Kevin, for participating.
Thanks, Kevin.
Personally, I have done this a little bit because I found I had an extra composition notebook, and so I just kind of do what we do in BTC, which is kind of write down something that was a low for the day, and then kind of find something that was a high. And the high could be something super simple. It could be I ate a sandwich, a good sandwich, So I have done a journal, and I do recommend that too.
I have
Thank you for sharing, anything.
I have not left a journal, wrote a journal, how I feel or anything, but I have been writing, but not about me. I just write. And I feel I haven't done a journal because I be oh, I'll do it later. And then I just stay in my bed and just watch movies. So I forget.
I can't do that because my family is annoying, and they would go through it and read it in front of. They'd they'd like read it in front of everyone. Like I've tried to do that and it doesn't work.
Awesome.
Against you.
You gotta lock it up in your notes app or
know.
something.
And thanks
Yeah.
to our city manager for the question.
Yeah, Kevin, you've been doing a wonderful job, managing these things that no one's ever done before. So we're with you and we support you, and please keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Okay, Lalo.
Yeah, so we have, thank you all for answering that. Our second question is from Adam. His question is, has anyone used any mental health apps or anything like Headspace while in quarantine?
Writing. I think that's like something I like is writing. I don't know why I like writing. I'm not the best person to write. Kendall knows that. We don't talk about that, but Kendall knows that I can't spell. But I'm writing on my phone, so they correct it for me. And my grammar sucks. So and also my phone helps me, so I just write on my phone.
Is there an app for that, or is it just all your?
It's just autocorrect. They help me.
I'm in the same boat. Has anyone tried like Headspace or I think Calm or like the e-moods tracker? I think. Yeah. Have any of the high school students experienced any of that stuff yet? No.
There's an app.
Shaking your head.
Yeah, there's like meditation apps and stuff like that. But that could be something that we can share when we repost this in the comments, because I think you guys might find that useful. You'll definitely find it useful when you get to our age, but maybe you get a jump on it now. Cool. Thank you, Adam.
Great. Yeah, thanks for that question, Adam. So going on to the next question from Mark. If you can go back and talk to your freshman self, what advice would you give?
Oh, that's a good one.
Great
I
question.
won't take that one.
Cool. Anyone want to kick us off? Sonia, is that you?
Yeah, I want to be less annoying. Be less annoying. Don't care about what people think. Be yourself, I'm still loud, so I don't think that changed, but I'm still stay loud, You have a beautiful laugh. Should have been more into school. I feel like since freshman year, I should have been more motivated to do more schoolwork, but I just was never, because, I just entered freshman year. Who cares about that, But I wish I had. And I wish I made friends with people that I'm friends with now, because I feel like they're the best people, and I wish I could spend more time with them. So I wish I could spend with them since freshman year.
Thanks, Donia.
Thank you, Donia.
Someone else?
I can go. I would just say I actually made one of my best friends freshman year. So just like a lot of the time we sort of people into our lives and we don't realize like the impact they're going to have on us, whether it's positive or negative or anything. So just really try to like comprehend how you feel when people, and if you feel like, oh, I don't really like this person, then just be like, hey, look, you're cool, but but just try to like understand what you're feeling, and don't let being scared of like I guess rejection or whatever, like don't let that like scare you away from telling people how you feel, and like always just be yourself and be as true to who you are as you possibly can.
That question came from Council Member Nogales from South San Francisco. So thanks, Mark. It's good to have you on.
And Project Sentinel outreach.
I would tell myself, there's one day where I was planning to ditch, but then I chickened out. I would tell myself to do it because I realized the punishment for a freshman wouldn't be as serious as like a junior or like a senior, because you know what you're, And plus, I wasn't like a good student freshman year, so it wouldn't really have mattered anyway. So
I think it would have been worse.
On you, Iman, for an honest answer.
I think it would have been worse, honestly, if they had you ditching because they don't want you to do it ever again in your life.
What?
Move on to the next one.
Okay.
We'll debate that in the next webinar.
Yeah. Thank you, Mom, for your honesty and for answering. So we're going to move on to the next question from Marissa and Juice. What are you all looking forward to the most after this is over? So maybe one person that hasn't shared want to kick us off. Jen, I see you waving your hand.
I can't wait to start living in a dorm and meet new people, but also be stuck in the woods on the border of Washington and Idaho. I just want to meet like new people and just start that college life. I really look forward to it. Start my coming of age review.
That'd be so great. Thank you for sharing, Jen. MK, would you like to share what is one thing you're looking forward to after this is all over?
I think she's actually frozen right now.
Oh no. Okay.
Oh, there she is. She's back.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I know in a month I turn 18, so that's a big birthday. And so I'm just looking forward to turning 18. And before the pandemic, I had some plans of what I was going to do when I was turning 18. I was hoping to leave the country for the first time, but that's not happening. So I think just really just trying to, just celebrate being 18 and just, living life.
Yeah, thank you, Jen and MK. So we're going to go on to the next question. And can I get a quick time check just to know
This
how many
is
more questions
a question that we can take for this topic because we have another topic that we're going to be sharing.
Sounds great. Cool. So last question for now is going to be, what is a good memory you have from your years at Oceana High School?
Thanks, Ricky. We see you.
Ricky, I think the times I spend in classroom with my friends when I'm not paying attention to in class, like, when me and Kendall are laughing and race a membership, me stealing her pencil.
You call me out like that.
She doesn't give me my pencil back. No, I'm just kidding. Those are fun times. Me laughing really hard in every class with my friends. I make everyone laugh. I'm funny. Right, Kendall?
I guess so.
My favorite part is like me sleeping in class, probably because like people would just leave me in there and I would wake up so mad at them. Like, who doesn't wake up someone in class when it's lunchtime? Like, you don't see them moving. Like, they're like, what are they doing? Like, wake them up, So like that's like the best times.
Thank you, Donia.
Great. Yeah, thank you, Donia. So we'll pause there, and I just want to read some comments that have been shared from Devin. They say, it's not a question, but so great to see you all, and it's amazing to hear such positive tips from you. Thank you. And from Nancy M saying, daily mindfulness with Ms. Ambrose has been a wonderful help. So thank you, Devin and Nancy, for sharing those tips and affirmations. So with that, I'll pass it over to Kendall.
Okay, I just sort of adding on to what Lala said, I want to thank all of you for your questions, and I hope that we answered them to the best of our abilities. I'm now going to pass the mic over to Iman and Donia, who are going to talk about appreciating diversity a little bit.
Hi, I'm Iman, and we're going to go over, like Kendall said, we're going to go over appreciating diversity. And before this, like, coronavirus, like COVID-19 started happening, we were planning the summit, and the reason why Dunya and I chose this, or like at least I chose this, because we feel like as though like diversity like wasn't like being appreciated as much as it should be, because like all these like racist like comments we would get like for like because we're Arab and like we're Muslim too, and like they would be like, oh, you're a terrorist and stuff like that, blah blah blah, like as a joke, but they didn't realize that sometimes those comments hurt. And like we just wanted to make people realize that like stereotypes, like assumptions like about like races and like religion like that is like is like wrong and you shouldn't be doing it. And then we realized there was like when COVID-19 started happening, we realized appreciating diversity like was a need because people were being like especially racist towards the Asian community and people who weren't even Asian and they just had the appearance like of an Asian, like what like the stereotypical like yeah, and like they would get like hated on for like no reason, even though it started in China. They would blame like every Asian they see, which is not even, you shouldn't even blame China, first of all. Like this would have happened sooner or later, and it's better that's happening now and we're dealing with it now, and instead of hating on each other we should be more united. And that's like why this is more important like to discuss and like to bring out right now, because like we shouldn't be hating on each other because that's only going to make the problem worse. It's not going to solve anything. So we need to get past that and help each other out, you know. Don't be hating on each other, you know. Dania, would you like to add on?
I think this topic is very important, and it's like really, really important because mental health does come apart with racism, kind of. So people that are the minority in this country usually do have mental health because of the system they are in, and because many of them do not have the support culturally. A lot of people of color culturally do not have as much support because many people of color, a lot of their families think it's not real. And it's like this generation is the generation that think it's real and should get help for. And I feel like right now pursuing diversity is really important because a lot of people in the inner cities are getting affected very badly right now because of the shelter in place. And a lot of people are also getting affected because a lot of Asian communities are getting targeted for something they are completely innocent in. And if this virus came from Europe or from the US, we would not have acted this way. And I feel like because it came from China, people are being really racist to people that are Asian. They yell at them, they blame them, you know. And I feel like people normally, if there's a big problem in their country, they always want to target someone and put the blame on one group of people when that's wrong. Well, right now, with the coronavirus, we should be together and not separate, because we are like, we're going through this together. We're all being affected in some type of way, and we should get together and support each other. And people that are protesting for the lockdown to be open is really like kind of unfair, because, you know, some people are protesting for the unfair death of a Black man, and they are protesting and they get treated badly. But the lockdown, you know, people that are protesting it, it's kind of unfair, because people, if you're at home, lockdown will actually be like finished sooner than later. So staying at home will keep lockdown like shorter. So them protesting will not make anything better. It would just make it worse, and more people would die. And the coronavirus, the bad thing about it is it doesn't only affect you, it affects everyone around you and other people.
Good point. Good point. Jen, how about you?
Personally for me, I'm also like part of the Asian community because I'm Filipino, and like some people I know have been like going to only Asian markets because they're like afraid of like being harassed and all. And also like I've been seeing, like I'm also like a really like creative person, but like a lot of like local artists are like unable to like make any income because they can't like go out and buy supplies and make sales. But also like other small businesses such as like restaurants, like they're like unable to like pay for their rent, and they're like being forced to like go of their business. It's kind of sad to see at the moment. And yeah.
Nice. Kendall, MK?
I think like if Tina started in a different country, like it could have started literally anywhere. In the US, it could have started in South Africa, it could have started anywhere, but I think anywhere it would have started, there would have been like a sort of what there is now, like sort of an obvious discrimination against the people of where it started in other countries. And I think it shows a lot about how we are as a society, that instead of reaching out and trying to help everyone, we're just attacking all the people who are going through it worse than we are, and we're saying stay away from us and we don't want you here. And it's not going to do us any good if all we're doing is trying to tear them down instead of help them like work back up to where they were. Yeah, that's.
Thank you. Do you have anything to add?
I think on the point of the protesters and the people protesting against the shelters in place in those certain states and areas, I think it shows them that they have a lot of privilege in their sense, and that, you know, compare that to other people such as, you know, doctors and nurses who have to work and go through, you know, working with all these sick people and, you know, are telling everyone to stay home, you know, those people. But then there's also, I think, you know, immigrants in this country that, you know, work as farmers and in factories, and they already don't work in the best conditions or get treated in the best way. And then, you know, you have this pandemic come over them and they're still trying to work because they still want to make money. You know, they come to this country for, you know, a better opportunity, and then they get hit with this pandemic and people not following the other rules because they have essentially have privilege. And it's just terrible to see that they're not considerate of all these other people that are going through so much during this time.
I also think that to bring up the fact that no one's really super educated about this, like no one really fully understands it, and it also like it affects us, but it also affects the teachers, because we're asking our teachers questions, what can we do, like what is actually going on, and they don't know. So then it doesn't help like going down the chain, or I guess that's the word, but it like anyone really understand it if the people who were asking questions don't understand it as well. So I think it really just brings out the importance of education just in general, like not just like going to school, but just how we all need to be educated about what's happening in the world. And I think that's really important.
Iman, can you ask the next question?
Yeah, that's what I was doing. How can we be more conscious of how different race groups are being affected during the pandemic? Zeke, wait, no. Zeke, do you want to answer that actually?
I think he's going to pass on this one.
Okay. What about Jen?
Well, I think for this like pandemic, we should like, in what ways we could be like more conscious of like other races is that we should like all take our part and like listen to like what the health like care workers are like saying and how we should stay home. But also at the same time, we should be aware that like every person doesn't want to go through this. So like if you're just harassing someone for like being Asian or like accusing them for like having the coronavirus, it's not going to do you any good or them. It's just you being a bad person, and like they didn't want this, you didn't want this. So like it's kind of like saying like treat others the way you want to be treated. But I also think like you shouldn't only like treat like Asians with like respect, but also like the healthcare workers, because like a lot of them are putting their like lives on like on the line, and like some of them have to eat outside because they don't want to like have their family get sick. And it's kind of sad to like see them also like kind of not get the respect they deserve because like people are like protesting, and I think everyone just needs to stay home and stay safe.
MK or Kendall or Dunya, would you want to add on to the conversation?
I think just like I said before, like this could have started anywhere. So just realizing that and realizing that the best thing that we can do right now to help people is to help them and not like just be like, oh, it's not happening to me. It's not happening that badly in my community, so it doesn't affect me. But it will at some point. If it's not in your community right now, it will eventually be, because that's how this virus is working. It's spreading, and it's not going to stop spreading until we all find some way to work together in order to stop it.
Yeah, and to go off of what Kendall said earlier about just educating yourself more and stuff, I think, even with this webinar that we're doing right now with our group and talking to the community about, just not our experiences, but, really what's just happening in the world is just an example of that, and how you all want to know more about what's going on, and that's a good thing, and to, continue learning about it.
Dunya, do you have anything to say? No? Alright. I'm gonna go off on Kendall's point on education. Like, we should acknowledge the communities that don't have as much health care, like the African American community, because obviously racism, and they don't have as much, and because of the fact that they're being treated differently, and they're also being marginalized in the bad parts, I guess, and they have to work more. The people of color, they have to work more, and they can't afford healthcare and stuff. So, and that's wrong, to specifically target a group of people. So we need to acknowledge that and get educated on why it's not right. Basically, saying that we need to get educated to say why it's not right shouldn't be happening at all. Even you should know that it's wrong. To me, at least. I don't know.
You know what I noticed about the differences between when you guys first made the video, right? When we were still in the classroom and we were talking about diversity as it played out in your lives, your different cultures, and how we need to, respect each other and learn, and how it was so beautiful, and how the conversation has changed to a broader vision of what it means, right? And how we're honoring all the different people, especially because the inequities are so glaring, because I'm privileged to be able to stay home, and not everybody has that. So I appreciate your all of your input, and I think we're going to move to the questions.
Yeah, Dunya, would you like to introduce?
Do you have any of you want to share, or do you have any question for us? Please raise your hand to share, or type your questions into the group chat or Q&A.
And I guess while we're doing that, Lalo, maybe you just want to chime in on this topic while people are typing. Have you, what are you thinking while the students are answering this? And is there anything that you can share that you've experienced during this pandemic?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I definitely reiterate the points of, staying educated as much as possible, and then just kind of uplifting more of Iman's point of, unfortunately, there are African Americans that are being impacted more. Death rates are much higher than other races and ethnicities across in the United States. So that has a lot to do with the history of racism and how it's played out in the medical system. So really, being informed about how it's impacting people differently would be one thing. And the second thing is, for those, as Mary said, that are privileged to work from home and still have an income during this time, really putting some of those funds out for undocumented people that might not be able to take advantage of a lot of the stimulus checks that were sent out, or other funds that the county or other state funds that are being sent out. There are a lot of GoFundMes and places that people can donate. So I'll definitely also point people in that direction of really putting some of that income, now that, we're saving up on going out and eating out and doing recreational activities, that extra savings can really help a family out in staying in their homes, not being homeless, but also just getting the basic necessities needed to survive during this pandemic.
There's a question in the Q&A.
Yeah.
Should I read?
Sure.
Do I read it?
Yeah, which one, just say who said it and which one you want to answer. Okay. And then it looks like Ian asked a question a long time ago, but it's 3:15 a.m. where he is. So maybe we'll get to that one later, but is there something specific in here that you want to answer?
Andy's question, have you or your friends witnessed attacks against Asians in our community since the shelter in place began? If not, what would you do if you were to witness it? I've seen it online at the ceremony target. It was really bad. If I was there, I would speak up, probably, most likely speak up. If everybody else was yelling, I probably wouldn't. If they were yelling at him for being racist, I probably wouldn't, because they got it. But I would just say, I'd probably cuss at them. I wouldn't be the best person to negotiate with them or something. But in the video, he was saying that, oh, you shouldn't be here. You caused all this and shit like that. Sorry. And it was just really mean. I was like, what the heck? I couldn't believe it happened here in all places. Because Daly City, it's not that bad. To me at least.
And it's majority Asian. It's majority Asian community and people of color. So hearing that is kind of weird for us, because it is the majority people here are people of color. So hearing that from people, or seeing that in our own community, is kind of weird, because it's type of way is how can someone come here and disrespect the Asian community when everyone here is majority Asian and people of color. So it kind of shocks you in some type of way, because we never seen it before this bad, but we all know it is here. It's kind of shocking.
Thank you for sharing. Again, the question is, have you or your friends witnessed attacks against Asians in our community since the shelter in place began? If not, what would you do if you were to witness it? And would anyone else like to answer before we go on to our next question?
I think that's a really important question, and it's interesting because we don't really have the answers. We've all been taught conflict resolution and stuff like that, but just because there's such intensity, I was at the grocery store and people are mad at each other and they're shaming people for not wearing masks. And like Mary says, it's all about love. So there's got to be a way to kind of calm a situation, but I don't think a lot of us are trained in that. And especially now that's not coming through to the media. So if maybe one of the co-facilitators can really take this moment and give a tip to the students and all of us moving forward and the viewers at home. What would you do if you walked out in front of a grocery store and there was a gentleman yelling at, maybe an Asian family with 2 little kids, because there were stories like that in the news. So would you just keep your mask on and walk away? What could we do, Mary?
What could we do, Mary? Yeah.
You look like you wanted to talk. Sorry.
No, I was going to say maybe Andy might want to comment.
Yeah, we can give Andy superpowers.
Andy is on the line. He's on our school board. So thank you for coming on, Andy. Appreciate you.
Okay, let me find Andy's name if he's ready to go. Hopefully he has his guitar too.
Yeah, right.
All right, Andy's microphone is on.
Hey guys, thanks for taking the question. And thanks for the wonderful response. I just want to comment because I actually had there was somebody in a group text who actually referred to the virus as the Wuhan flu. And I was actually too stunned to even know how to respond myself. I was actually hoping to I actually wound up not responding via text and was hoping to see this individual in person, and I have not had the chance to do so. because I don't think it's the type of thing that in my mind I can respond to via text, right? It's one of those things where in the right situation, I would want to be able to at least gently, hopefully, tell the individual why it was an inappropriate thing to say. So that's been the closest I've seen. But I know, and I respect what you guys are saying. I mean, we're fortunate that we live in a community that, for the most part, is pretty respectful of each other. But these things do pop up, and the ignorance is around us much closer than we realize, unfortunately, especially in Pacifica.
So thank you for sharing,
guys.
Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
I would just encourage you not to respond in anger. I like to think of anger as a stop sign. So if you feel yourself in a situation where you're getting angry, you're going to want to just take that stop sign. And I don't know if you have to hug the person or just like hug the family and take away
the person who's
well, I guess you see with coronavirus, the usual thing would usually like to calm the situation, like, you know, because sometimes people are in a, so.
Okay, when we're in quarantine, you can't like not respond angrily. Like you have to.
That's what I'm saying. So that's why it's easier to be angry than it is to give love. And that's why Mary pushes that so much. So.
Yeah. And even like now, you know, I've been very sheltered here in my beautiful little space. Right. And so I feel it when I have to leave the house. I'm like, it's palpable out there. And so I just do, you know, talk about love as much as I possibly can.
Just be nice.
Yeah. Okay.
That was a great question. Thank you, Andy. And thank you for sharing. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah.
Daily, what is it? Daily music, hashtag daily music on Facebook. Or music daily music. We'll figure it out. Okay, sweet. Are there any other questions, students, in there that you wanted to get to?
Yeah, I see a question here from Kevin that says, a year or two from now, what do you think we'll have learned in looking back on this pandemic regarding diversity, mental health, or other?
I think.
Again, the question. Oh, cool. Go ahead, Donnie.
Don't say anything. It was
I think that
Kendall.
was Kendall.
Kendall.
Oh, okay. Sorry, Donnie popped up on the screen. Sorry.
I think we'll definitely have learned a lot about both of them, but I think for me personally, just regarding my mental health, I'll have learned how to sort of calm myself down when I feel anxious, because I've definitely done a lot of that. Specifically, like I go to Oceana, so we have to do our senior exhibition presentations normally, and this year it was an option, and I decided that I wanted to do it, and I didn't realize how stressful that would make it for me, because I was do it like the next week when we went to school, but then I realized that I had like a month to do it, so I wanted it to be as it could be. So I was putting a lot of pressure on myself, and I was trying to get it as perfect as I could. So I was just really stressed out, but I just had to take like little moments out of my day just to like do things to try to like calm myself down. And I think that was really important for me, because I get stressed out all the time, and it's like an everyday sort of. So I think it was really important for me to have enough time to actually like sit down with it and just realize what I could do to like help it get less.
Going off what Kendall said, like during this pandemic, I had a lot of time to think to myself, which is, I'm an overthinker, which is horrible. And I was like, it is not normal for for me to be okay, like with my like life that's going on right, like in the past years, because every single year since 8th grade, somebody that's been close to me has died, and I've been okay with it until like realizing, oh, that's why I'm so effed up in the head, you know? Like I finally realized that like my whole family's effed up because of that, and I didn't realize that it wasn't normal until somebody told me it wasn't normal, you know? So yeah, I just thought, me and my sister laughed about it yesterday. It was kind of funny to me though.
Thank you.
And also regarding like when we go back, like regarding diversity, like I feel like there's still going to be, not to go on negatives, but I feel like there's still going to be ignorant people out there saying stuff like, oh, it's the Chinese virus, shit like that. Like, you know, like I feel like there still be ignorant people out there, and even with all this education going around, they'll still stay ignorant, you know. And you just have to hope that the next generation is better than this, like the last few. It's usually in the last generation, it's not usually in my generation, but like the one before, because I don't even know why. But like we just have to hope that they don't pass that kind of thinking and that kind of ignorance on to the next generation, because like it's all about how you grow up thinking and stuff.
Would you
like
say that you should be the change?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey. Cool. Does anyone else want to take a crack at that? A year or two from now, what do you think you'll have learned looking back on all this?
MK?
Oh, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I think it's just like Iman said, I've been kind of reflecting on, my past and things that I've been through, and kind of, because I like to keep myself busy and such, and kind of, not think about things that have happened, because I just want to move forward. But I think it's good to kind of look back on stuff that's happened and kind of be like, wow, I've been through that, you've been through that, people have just been through that. And I know that right now is a crazy time for a lot of people, but I think that during this time, I feel like a lot of people are kind of reflecting on things as well. And so maybe in like some, weird little silver lining thing, people hopefully look back on things that have happened and kind of take the time to really think through them.
That's a good point, and it actually answers Brandon's question. What are some silver linings or unexpected positives that have come from the coronavirus? And then I want to make sure we get to Ian's. So if someone wants to take a crack at this, in what ways do you think you'll come out of this ordeal stronger? Jen, do you want to take that one?
Oh yeah, sure. I think I'm gonna become stronger with this because
I like your microphone. Is that a paintbrush?
Yeah.
You are creative.
So I think I'm gonna become stronger with this like ordeal, because like I had to like adjust to like a lot of things, like doing school online. I think with this, like I'm gonna learn like more to like how to like kind of be by myself and like not depend on others, like like getting notes and stuff, but also like doing things on my own. Like I'm not gonna always have like lunch there for me, like I have to make it myself, but also at the same time, like what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I have to be like kind of like independent, but also like I shouldn't, like I'm not gonna like kind of like not do anything, because like I've been through a lot already. Like this year was just kind of like crazy, so like there's more to come, and like I shouldn't like just kind of stay in the past, but like just move forward, and that's it.
Nice.
How are we doing on time? Do we want to take any more questions, or do we want to move on to?
We might be able to take one more question, but then also, Lalo, maybe we can shave a little time off of yours so that the youth can have a chance to respond.
Oh, you're going to shave Lala's time? Wow.
Yeah, of course. No worries.
I'm pretty sure Mary talked for 30 more seconds than we let her in the rehearsal. Lalo is the glue that keeps us together.
Not all of it.
Okay.
The reason
I know.
more time is because I didn't expect such good questions.
Yeah, this has been great. It's a
lot.
lot better with other people, right?
Yeah.
I was actually hoping we could answer Brandon's question.
Yeah.
For me personally, some like silver linings or unexpected positives that had come from this is I get to spend more time with my dad specifically, because I'm moving with my mom, so I'm not gonna be like living with him anymore. So it's been kind of hard for me to like accept that, but I think it's definitely easier for me now that today I'm going over to his house and I'm staying there until we move, like until we leave in 2 weeks. So I think it's really been really helpful for me to like actually get that time with him that I wouldn't have gotten if I was going to school or like not being at home all the time. And he's gonna like take time off this week so that we can actually spend that extra time together. So that's definitely something that I'm happy about with this going on.
Oh my God, a really good question just popped up by Nicole Ortega. I think I said that right. After seeing how our government is handling this pandemic, are you motivated to vote when you are legally able? I'm not
Yes.
gonna vote. I'm gonna run. Okay. Yeah, not for president, but like that's my sister's job. I don't want to do that. It's too hard.
Your sister's president?
She's gonna be.
Run.
Nice.
I'll be like her vice or something.
Sweet. You can host her webinars.
I'll do both. I'll vote and run.
Nice.
Yeah. What am I thinking?
I'm definitely gonna vote, but it's not just because of what's been happening with the pandemic and like how the government's been handling it. But I took I don't know what it was. What was this year's humanities tech? I don't know. But whatever it was, Miss Peters.
Government.
Yeah, Miss Peters the whole time was just talking about how important it is for us to vote, and hearing her say that like consistently and like explaining all the reasons why, it definitely motivated me even more. Because I already, when I got my permit, you had to fill out like, do you want to pre-register to vote? And I was like 15. I had no clue what that even meant, but I was like, yeah, sure. So it definitely just helped me feel like my vote does matter. It is important that everyone votes.
Also, the fact that I would be voting for like things that people who aren't able to vote, like immigrants who aren't able to vote, like or like register for voting. I would take their opinion into account and see what makes it better for them. You know, because I feel like it's not fair to them because they're voluntarily taking the jobs that we don't want to do, and like they're doing it for us basically. And like we should be able to open our mind to like letting them share their opinion in the first place. And like I don't even know why it's just a big problem. Like I don't know why people don't have hearts, you know.
Hey, Iman, let me know when you want to start your campaign. Okay, I got you.
I might know a few people. Okay, sweet. So since I talked too much, sorry. I got everyone started, but we have about 15 to 20 minutes left probably.
Yeah,
cool. So
And I
Kendall,
also just want to plug in. I want to plug in that for young people in San Mateo County, you can pre-register at 16 years old, so you don't have to wait till you're 18. You can pre-register at 16, and then you automatically become registered at 18. So that's something like a lot of young people aren't aware of. So if you know anyone that that is not of age, they can start doing that now. So thank you all for your comments and thoughts on how this has really influenced you to be more civically engaged. It's super important.
Totally.
So we're actually gonna hand it over to Lalo right now. Again, we want to thank you for all of your questions and everything. And Lalo is going to talk about the Youth Leadership Institute and how they are dealing with this pandemic.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you, Kendall. I'll keep it short since I think one of the questions from the panelists about the needs is also part of the conversation that I want to have. So just briefly, my name is Lalo. I'm with the Youth Leadership Institute. I'm the program manager in the San Mateo County office. And what we do is we partner with young people, to provide them with the tools and resources to make, community change. And I've had the privilege and honor to partner with this group of young people with BTC in a couple of years. So it's great seeing, from when they started to like what they're doing now. It's just inspirational seeing that they're taking that empowerment and really putting it into action. So props to you all. Shout out to you all. Y'all doing such a great job. And this is why I do what I do, is because, when I was a young person, I did have that adult ally that would tell me, you don't have to be 18 and you don't have to be an adult for you to start pushing for change. You can actually start doing that now, and your voice really matters, right? You don't have to be an expert in a topic to have an opinion about it. You just need to be an expert in your experiences, and that's what really matters. So I appreciate you all taking the time to really digging and thinking about your experiences, to really think about how it's affecting mental health and diversity, especially during the shelter in place. And I kind of like talking about how it has affected us and me personally as well. going back to like the mental health question, right? I think one of you said every day is different. Some days I do wake up super energized to like to continue doing the work. Other days I'm just kind of like, oh, what's going on? I kind of want to stay in bed. So it's a day by day thing. And I think that's what we've been seeing with our young people as well. But I think the biggest lesson we've seen and heard is that it's so important to come together, even if it's virtually, just to create a space for young people to talk about their frustrations, talk about their anger, right? A lot of seniors are not experiencing the traditional senior year with like prom and graduation. So that's really something big that, that they've worked for 4 years or for like, 12 years to get to that next step in their life. So I hear you, and I see that across the county. Young people are experiencing that, and you're not alone. So that's what we're starting and continuing to do, is having those virtual meetings and just having organic conversations with young people. Traditionally we do research, we do try to get the work moving, but we also understand that there are days that young people just want to show up, see each other, and just chat, right, and vent. And that means maybe we had an agenda about like, here are some projects that y'all started that we might want to finish, but we can just put that aside and we just focus on the mental health of the group, including the adult allies in the room, because you're not going through this alone. I definitely have those days that I'm kind of like, wow, like we're really in this, right? None of us have experienced this kind of this before, right? In the history of like, at least people that are like alive now, that haven't experienced this kind of pandemic in this context. So like, again, huge shout out to you all for being here today, and continuing to put all of your experiences and the work that you've been doing and into this webinar. So with that, I'd love to kind of get into that question that I was asked about. What are the biggest needs that you've seen showing up in your community during the pandemic? And I'd be really interested to hear about you as young people, either finishing your senior year, thinking about your next steps, but also like for those of you that aren't in your senior year and thinking about your next year in school, what are some of those needs that you would like to share with us?
I think during rehearsal, some of the students had some, so maybe they can give some examples or things that they think themselves they might need, or that's helped them that they've already gotten.
Motivation. I need some of that. Oh, and I have a lack of motivation. That's why I need it.
Motivation, yeah.
And then do we put Lalo on the spot? How do you motivate someone who is fasting, can't eat, not motivated? But does a hell of a job on a webinar, by the way.
Yeah, no, you continue to create safe spaces for people, and so that we can all get together and talk safely. And sorry, Lala, I'll take that in from you. I feel strongly about that, right? Because I've seen you guys be motivated, but that doesn't mean we couldn't work through it, because here you are today. MK, did you want to say something?
Yeah, so not for me, but I know I have friends and other classmates. I know that, when they go to school, that lunch is like a really important thing for them to be able to go out and, buy lunch at school. And that I know that, some schools are giving out lunches and stuff, but I've heard that they don't always have enough food there and that they run out. And I was over by Jefferson for an unrelated reason, but I saw the huge line that they had from Jefferson, and a lot of cops, and I don't know how quickly it is to get food, but it looks like it took a while, especially if you're in the back of that line. So maybe creating a better system for students to easily access food could be a big improvement for some students and families.
I don't know what MK said. I literally live right near Jefferson. Like, it's just up the hill from my apartment thing, whatever. And like the cops are a problem. Like they just keep freaking doing their sirens, I sleep through it, but like when I'm awake, it kind of annoys me. But like,
thanks, Iman, for that.
Stop, not down.
It's a bad neighborhood.
I think
Thanks. Jen, did you have something do you wanted to share about that, or Kendall, or anyone else?
I think a good motivation is if you have little siblings and they like come in your room and just ruin things, and you have to run, and they steal something from your room. You just run behind them, because my brother just did that, and like he's in my room yelling, and I can't hear anything now. So I feel like that's a good motivation to get up off your bed, because you have no choice.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
Jen?
Have little kids in your house.
I think like some like for me like I think like there's not that much like for me like since like a lot of like seniors are going to college, like there are like some people I know like being unable to like kind of like afford like college textbooks, and they're kind of like scared for that. And like personally like me, I got kind of sad that I didn't get like any of the Oceana scholarships, so like I'm kind of like struggling with like how am I gonna pay for my $900 textbooks, and like some other people like also having that issue.
Lalo, is that something that Lala can help with, or do you have any resources for her?
No resources come to mind now, but I can definitely send you a quick research about potential scholarships, local scholarships in San Mateo County. I know San Mateo County Credit Union does have a scholarship. Yeah, thank you for sharing, everyone. I think I also just want to plug in for adult allies that are listening in, as we continue this conversation, hearing from young people, if you can just put in the chat of like, what are some things that you have seen that the youth in your lives struggle with, and what are also some solutions that we can start brainstorming. That way, we can, part of what, YLI does is trying to advocate for young people. So, we can imagine a world where we can like advocate for, universal Wi-Fi for all students or all residents in San Mateo County during a shelter in place. So that's one thing that we've been hearing, like along the coast in Half Moon Bay down to Pescadero, that Wi-Fi has been a big issue. Not everyone's home has Wi-Fi, or not everyone's home was set up for a shelter in place for like a learning environment. So, we also heard like, needing like a lab desk, needing some kind of structure like you all shared. That way, you're able to balance like the chores that your parents are telling you to do and your homework that your teachers are telling you to do during like a time where everything's kind of like up in the air. So again, the allies, if you want to put in some thoughts about what are some things that you've been hearing young people have expressed needing, and what are some potential solutions. And thanks again for everyone for sharing. I think I want to transition over to the next question, which is kind of to end in a more positive note, about, cool, okay. To end on a positive note is like, what is one positive thing that has come out of sheltering in place for you? And maybe one or two people can share. That way we can move on into the closing of our webinar.
One thing that has like that actually turned out to be a positive is that like I actually started praying more. I've started to be like a religious person now, because there's nothing else to do really. Like if I'm just gonna sit down all day, I might as well do something productive like praying, and like it's also sort of a meditation. It calms you down, like mindfulness sort of thing. It calms me down at least. And
that's beautiful.
What else?
Let someone else go to.
Yeah, so we'll probably do about 5 to 10 minutes. It's okay to go a little over. I feel like people are enjoying themselves. So
okay.
Basically, we're not gonna cut it at 3, but yeah, we'll give. Thanks, Mary.
One more person want to share
something positive that's come out of this?
I'll share.
Go, Jen. Go.
Thank you, Jen.
Something positive that came out of this is like, I guess I found like my passion for writing again, because I also like accidentally like put my major as like creative writing. And I was like, ew, but then now I'm like, oh, I'm fine with it. Like I just feel really like happy with like the work I make now. I think that's like a really positive thing.
Awesome. That's awesome.
So we're gonna record this, and when you're a famous like creative writer, we're gonna play this, and you're like, oh, I just stumbled upon creative writing. That's awesome. So Sue Degree, former mayor and everything else, just said that the government is going to plan on helping with textbooks and stuff like that. So that's good to hear. Good to have you, Sue.
Hey, Sue.
Sue. All right. Cool. Thank you, Allo. It's been a pleasure working with you throughout the years, and especially on this. So grateful to have you here, and thank you. This is going to be the fun part now. We're just going to go quickly around the circle or squares or whatever we're calling these, and just share like a good memory with BTC, the work you've done with Mary. And then if you want to kind of do a last little sign off to our participants and our attendees, this is your time to do that. But thank you guys all for being here and letting me be a part of this.
Okay, who's going first?
I nominate Kendall.
Kendall, I guess you're going.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I've been here for 4 years, so there's a lot of memories to look through. I think one of my favorite things is when we would do the summits like in person, which we didn't get to do this year, but the day before we would go to IBL or wherever it was and we would set up, and then after we would all go out to dinner together. And it was like this big family dinner, and it was really just this like bonding moment that we all had, and it was different every year, and it was a different experience, but it was always, you felt that same like, this is like my family, like this is where I belong. Also CADCA was really fun too. So those are mine.
Tag someone.
I think my favorite memory is I've been here for 3 years. Also, like I came here my sophomore year, my end of my sophomore year, and I was very quiet at first. We all know that didn't last long. My favorite memories are times when we would like joke around, or like it was like a holiday and we would draw, or when like Mary thinks me and Kendall are actually arguing, but we're not. That's just me and Kendall. Or like when we would like play games, it was always fun, and like we would always have like laugh attacks and stuff. And we brought new people in, and like our family got bigger every year. And some of them, we barely see, but it's okay. No shade.
Thank you, Mia.
And these are like the moments that I cherish the most with you guys.
Me too. All right, Jen, go.
One of them I really like is CATCA, because I got to meet people that also like had like a similar like cause of what we were trying to do. But also like, I guess I don't really have a favorite memory, but I guess like whenever like every Wednesday like after school, just walking into the room knowing that I'm about to like do something and like see all of you, it felt like really nice knowing like, oh, my day is gonna be better, I'm gonna be productive, I'm gonna have a lot of fun. And normally that doesn't happen like right after school, and I just really like that like 2 hours every Wednesday. It was very nice.
Zeke.
Okay, a memory that I cherish is the first day that I went to BTC, which was last year in January. And the way that Mary got me in was with pizza, which was pretty good. But really, to me, that like me walking in there, I was weirded out because I was like, what the hell am I even doing here? And as I started going more and more, I just like kind of fell in love with the idea of helping people and doing the summits and stuff. So yeah.
Iman?
I don't know. And my favorite memory is when you were like, no, I was like ranting to you about how they didn't accept my hours, and I was like, they're so mean. My grandma died, I couldn't turn it in, and then they thought I was lying because my mom didn't call to tell them that my grandma died, and I went to school the day after because I thought it was fine, you know, all that stuff. And then you're like, I'm gonna get you those hours. They're not gonna do that to you. And then you gave me hours from Keck.
That was a good Mary impression. We're gonna do this, okay?
Well, you put the hours in.
Yeah, they did not give me my almost 90 hours of community service.
Look at you now, though.
You gave me like the 100 requirement.
I also liked when you came in your onesie and you weren't talking and you weren't saying anything. You just had this hood over your head. Remember that? You're not like that anymore.
What was that?
It was Halloween or something. You're in some costume.
Was it the unicorn one?
Yeah.
Yeah. I gave that to Dunya or something. I
have it now.
All right. I never wear it.
Did we get to everyone? Did they get to share their?
MK, Jen. Wait, did Jen go? It's just MK.
I mean, I loved all of our projects, but I think my favorite was kind of like the small moments and like, especially being in like regular class and then people coming up to you and being like, oh, are you going to Mary's later? And then everyone being like, oh yeah, I'm going. And then showing up there. And then, you know, we have our food and stuff and it's so chaotic when everyone's getting food because everyone's trying to get, you know, the food. And then it's kind of chaotic. But then once we all sit down in our like circle or square or whatever, and we just kind of talk about, you know, what we're going through. And it's just a great group. And I had just a great time in it.
Lalo, you've been around BTC. Do you have a memory you'd like to share?
I think just going in to do, I've had a pleasure to do some trainings with you all, lead a couple of workshops. It's always such a fun time. And I think it's a group that has a lot of creative ideas. And, you know, I always leave feeling so like, I personally don't have the privilege to be doing as much youth engagement work anymore with my new role, but anytime I do have a chance to do that with young people, it just lightens up my day, just because it's just, you could tell that there's so much love and there's so much passion in their room, and you know, that just feeds off to me. So yeah, I would say just every single time I'm there, sharing space with you all has been a highlight.
Thank you for everything you did for our group, Lalo.
You're welcome. Thank you all.
I came kind of late on the group, but I've been a friend with Mary's for a long time, and I've worked with Lalo on and off through the Pacifica Resource Center, and I was just looking so excited to be a part of this family on Wednesdays during my lunch break, and it's kind of grown into, you know, the only thing that's really keeping me going and keeping my mental health strong during the shelter in place. There's a lot going on personally with work and my family business and the restaurant. And so there's so much uncertainty. There's just so many like high costs of just like blood, sweat, and tears and bank accounts that are coming up for all of us. And I knew this was going to be a special event, and we've been prepping for this for so long, but I didn't realize how well, one, it went super well. And just having everyone here, having friends and different people from all walks of our lives being in the comment section, like, really meant a lot. And it really is great to just see you guys all kind of just grew up and I've only known you for like 3 months. So I can't wait to see what you do and where you end up. And yeah, I'm just so grateful to be here, and I want to thank everyone for coming today. I put some helpful links in the chat section. There's Mary's website, yli.org for Lalo's organization, pacresourcecenter.org. If anyone needs groceries or they need help with their rent or mortgage or pretty much anything, if you need a Band-Aid or just someone to talk to, please call them. pacresourcecenter.org. If you're in a position to help, please donate through that link. Or if you want to volunteer, you can do that as well. Or if you or someone you know needs to sign up for grocery delivery, they can go to that link as well. And if you can't tell, the census is here. It's happening now. So smccensus.org. It's really important that we all get counted so that we can get funding for all these things that we talked about, especially during emergency planning and the pandemic. So I added that link. And of course, ilovebreakers.com. Keep an eye out on that. Special announcements hopefully coming soon. And then I also added cityofpacifica.org, just because Kevin Woodhouse being here was really special. And I think we need to support the city and the staff. They're already working so hard on so many things. And for this to come and kind of shake our little community, it's going to take the whole community to save itself. So just put more love into the community. That'd be my best advice. Obviously, I stole that from Mary. And then, students, just take a chance and look in the chat. A lot of people are just wishing you the best and saying how well you've done and how fantastic this all is. Also, Jen with 2 N's mentioned that the library has free books when you go to college. So not everything has to be paid for. You can get thrifty and rely on those services that are there for you.
So I really want to thank everybody for joining us today. Thank you for all of your questions and your comments. It was beautiful for all of you to be here, I have so many memories with my youth groups, but this by far was like the most evolved, active group that I've ever had. And so it's just been an honor to be with you all. I love you. I'm here for you, like always. And just know that the work that you've done is incredibly important, not only to me, because, you've kept me happy this whole time, but to our whole community. So thank you, each and every one of you. I love you so much. We don't know what prevention is going to look like, right? Moving forward, we're all going to try to figure out how to do things differently. But the one thing that I do know is that over the past 15 years, I have got to work with the most incredible young people on the planet, and you guys are just top of the heap. So thank you so much. Great job.
We beat you, Robbie.
Wait, for clapping or what?
No, we beat you. We're the most incredible group she's had. So
that's true. I thought I was part of the group, but I guess.
Thank you, everybody.
I mean, not as a youth.
That's true. I wish. I wish. That's what I'd tell my freshman self. Go find Mary and don't let her go. Okay, thank you guys all so much. This was a big experiment, and I think it worked out well. We're happy to share this with any other school districts or any teachers or any other folks out there who need to get the word out. We're all professional marketing, media, and content creators now. So if you're interested in working with this lovely group of people, we can do it from Washington, we can do it from the East Coast, we can do it from the West Coast, and we would love to moderate or take on any projects that you have. And Mary, we love you. You just are an amazing person. You already know how we all feel about you, but please rest up and be well. And we look forward to having you in the outside world soon. And Lalo, it's been an honor. So thank you for being here and co-facilitating. I learned a lot from you, man.
Mary for president.
Lynn, you're so funny.
What?
Lynn, yeah.
Mary for president. Yeah. Mayor beer and then president beer. Thank you all so much. Do I end the meeting or do you end the meeting? Mary, I'm going to give you the honor.
How about Kendall ends the meeting?
Does she have those superpowers?
No.
Okay. Kendall, do you want to end the meeting?
You end the meeting, Robbie. You're the host.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
We'll meet and debrief on Wednesday.
Okay. Have a great rest of your week or weekend. We love you all. Peace.
Love you. Thank you.
Bye,
Great job, everybody.
Bye.
Bye, Sifa.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, Jason, if he's still there.
5, 4, 3, 2.
1. Bye.